Respected faculties and speaker, hello to everyone and students too. Talking about today's topic, youth and positivism. Okay. If I ask, I'm into lecturing, and the first thing that I ask my students is like, how do you define happiness? Okay, which is the base of positive psychology basically. So they give me, synonyms like joy or an adrenaline rush. But the bottom line, one word, I have in my practice understood a pattern that if one word has to define happiness is security. Okay? And exactly opposite of happiness, I consider it as being fear as an emotion. These two emotions are at two extremes. So if you are happy, okay, you are not afraid somewhere. So the fear is out of your life for something and you're secured for something, and that's the reason happiness has entered your life. So I always consider fear management as a very top priority when it comes down to explaining youth as to how to be positive. How do you do fear management? I have developed a model where if you have the control on 6 resources, practically speaking, today's youth do understand that we, Indian tradition and culture, hails from ancient time, and religion and a lot of spiritual models have definitely helped to bring the youth and the people of India to some stability, and the East, and especially India, is known for spirituality, and people from the West do travel down to East in seek and search of spirituality. But in today's time, youth requires practical tips. So when we talk about fear management, I always feel that 6 resources, if you have a control on these 6 resources, which I'll be telling you right now, it will be easy for you to manage your fears. What are the 6 resources? Okay, beginning with knowledge. Knowledge is the topmost resource that one has to start accumulating. Right now, we are accumulating that particular resource in this conference, right? So knowledge, finance, health, technology, time, and people. These are the 6 resources. And if you have more control on these 6 resources, fear management becomes easy and problem solving becomes easy too. So point is that, it's like that. I have created a quote. The kingdom of a man and a woman too, so I'm just using the word man. The kingdom of a man ends where his fears begin. So how do you expand your kingdom? You need to gain control on these 6 resources which I just mentioned to you. One thing is this. Other thing is the approach that youth, I feel, should take down to create positivity is problem solving and mindfulness. These are the 2 sub approaches that one has to keep in mind. Problem solving on one side and mindfulness. When I talk about problem solving, what exactly one has to do regarding problem solving? The more control you have on these 6 resources which I mentioned to you, the better you can solve your problems. For example, people, today's youth might only go behind understanding, my bank balance has to increase as soon as possible. So when they talk about bank balance, okay, they are only talking about finance as a resource. But what about knowledge as a resource? What are they doing? How are they upgrading their knowledge resource from time to time? What are they doing about their health as a resource? What are they doing for their technology as a resource? And other 6 resources that I mentioned. So only thinking about finance as a resource is not going to help them. If they feel that they are falling short of people, start developing skills to have people management also. So when you have to do people management, you need to have some psychological skills, communication skills, time management skills, assertiveness management skills, IQ, EQ development skills, interpersonal attraction, and how do relationships build as well as manage. These things are absolutely necessary in today's time to build the positivity that we are trying to understand. So besides this, one has to understand problem solving is one approach and mindfulness is another approach. Now when we talk about mindfulness as an approach, what exactly you mean by mindfulness? You know, all those things that a person does just to get that, nirmal anand, as we say, Some people may just go for a walk. That makes them feel happy about, makes them feel initialized about this. All those things are related to mindfulness. So chanting a name or chanting God's name will not solve your problems. But definitely it will create that mindfulness, it will create that infrastructure bodily and mentally to solve your problems. So definitely I am not against spirituality and religion. In fact, they are doing a wonderful job, people who are dedicated and devoted to the field of creating mindfulness for people, especially and youth too. The point here is I always give an example of a cell phone and its charger. Okay? Let's take you want to communicate to someone, your friend. There's a problem that has been created. You had to reach somewhere. I'm giving you an example in terms of analogy. You have to reach somewhere and you are running late. So it's a problem. Fine? So you'll say, okay, fine. I'll communicate to the person and I'll say I'm going to get late. So you take your cell phone, okay, and you go to operate it, but you see there's no charge in it. So what do? You plug it to the charger into the main source. You charge the cell phone, okay, and after charging the cell phone, that's not it. You need to operate on it, right? So mindfulness is like the charger. And problem solving is actually operating in your environment to solve your problems. And how do you solve your problems? Just gain control on these 6 resources which I mentioned to you. Knowledge, finance, technology, health, people and time. Time is one major resource because I always give an analogy like, imagine these are the 6 railway compartments. The first is not a compartment, it's an engine, right? In a railway train, first, which always leads by knowledge. So the first compartment is the engine, which is knowledge. Then all those other resources, and the last compartment represents time. Because you know what? The time resource is like the guard is in the time resource. It always says time is running. Do something. And always your problems will be solved by knowledge heading you in all directions. Thank you so much.